Hello everybody and welcome back to the Summit 7 Chinese Qualifiers Grand Finals between CDEC versus LGD. LGD currently 2-1 after losing Game 1 to CDEC. Well, things have certainly turned around. So, my co-caster PQMZ, hope you're still alive. You there?
I am. Very much alive.
How are we holding
Not
up?
so sure about CDEC's chances, but...
Well, if anything, you came really close as well. You said it potentially be a 3-0 from LGD. It might be a 3-1. If anything, you have the bragging rights here. You can be like, kinda called it, kinda.
10 seconds remaining.
That's a stretch at most.
5 seconds remaining.
I feel like. You either call it bang on or you don't. There is no
Reserved
close.
But if anything, the intent to say that LGD were going to secure this grand finals slot into the Summit 7 main event, I mean, it's close enough. I would have thought CDEC would give LGD a run for their money. I still hope they do. I hope they win this game so that we can see a game 5. But hey, you know, it either happens or it doesn't. So CDEC, they will take out the Crystal Maiden and the Magnus this time. And actually, I just wanted to point out as well, it seems like whichever team picks the Crystal Maiden, they actually win, if you've noticed throughout this series so far.
Yeah, sports have been setting whichever team has the more active ones up to win. And I'm going to stop saying that now because I know I sound like a broken record. I'm literally repeating it every single game. But I hope you get the emphasis.
I do. But alright, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. And Treant Protector, this is the first Treant pick we're seeing in quite a while. I think even over the past 2 days, past 3 days, we have not seen Treant Protector at all for most of these teams. It's always been banned out.
Yeah, I think it has a 100% pick ban rate in the first few. So, first time this series, it's a really strong hero. Wouldn't be surprised to see CDEC build their draft around this quite a bit.
Alright, Yao straight up first picking the jug. He goes back for the Clockwork again. Okay, this I'm excited for because Old11, the last time he played Clockwork, mentioned it back in game 1. He had an amazing game yesterday against eHome, completely destroyed them, despite them having a Clockwork player as well. You know, things just happen like that when you give away a trademark hero. So CDEC, now that you have the Treant Protector, they're lacking a 5. We'll see how else they decide to approach this draft. But if anything, I like the way both teams are playing around now. At least there's a bit more versatility. This is one of the good things of casting a BO5.
It develops its own metagame. It really does. Like, as you said, the bans have been pretty much reactive to whichever team lost, and then they're banning the heroes that they deemed the issue. And now we get the good old Tree Phoenix.
So, Bash, Leech Seed into Sunray, the ultimate recipe to be cooked, and LGD. This gives them plenty of room to work around the cores because you have both your supports picked up already. I think it's very unlikely we see a Phoenix off lane, but I could be wrong. We'll have to see.
No, there's no way you're wrong. They might do something where Phoenix ends up soaking up the off lane because their quote-unquote real off laner is in the jungle.
If anything, CDEC, if they do decide to do that, it pretty much indicates that they'll pick something like an Axe where you can just go straight to the jungle. We might see a Darkseer, for example. We have not seen that as well. Darkseer into the Phoenix Egg, always a wonder to watch, not to mention the Overgrowth. That's just team fight which you cannot give up. And speaking of which, between these two teams, none of them have actually picked a ban Darkseer as well.
No, they've definitely had their preferences elsewhere, and I think LGD playing Clock as the offlaner makes a lot of sense in this kind of game. Having the forms of initiation on these two heroes is really, really useful. And I don't think in this series, at least when CDEC played the Clock, they didn't really utilize it very well as a support hero. LGD seemed to have a recipe to make this hero work from the offlane in our experience of casting their, was it like 2 games they did it, or 3?
Three.
I think it was 2 or 3.
So
but every game it's been like top of the net, well, in and amongst the top of the net worth, which is something you don't see this hero do unless he's getting a buttload of kills.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, we saw Old 11 do something very similar, not on the
5
level of
seconds
eHome's question
remaining.
mark, but he had like 8 kills, basically, yeah,
Reserve
8, 2,
time.
and 13 or something. There was some really sick stuff coming out from him. I mean, nothing on the level of the eHome Clockwork player, where he basically had a mega kill streak by 7 minutes beyond Godlike and in 10. But still, you know, that's pretty much up there. And if anything, CDEC, they definitely did not live up to the expectations of Clockwork so far in among the Chinese games which we've casted together. So LGD, they have to think very hard right now. Obviously, you know, if you're them, you're thinking, okay, we want to win this game 4, we don't want to give it away. Disruptor will be the number 5 coming up for them.
Dire team pick.
I like this as much as I liked it for CDEC, but in this situation, I maybe have a bit more faith, because I feel like it's very unlikely LGD run this as a clock, and Disruptor's extremely good at
10 seconds
dealing with
remaining.
Phoenix in the lane. If they want to go for some kind of
5 seconds remaining.
dual lane, if not, it's very good at dealing with it in team fights, and it has just good
Reserve
synergy with
time.
clock in general.
Mhm.
And right now, it's like a very, it's a open-ended pick. You don't really care what CDEC pick right now. You know your Disruptor is going to be useful. It doesn't give too much away either.
Ooh.
LGD's turn to pick.
I think this is good for CDEC actually. This gives them a really scary free lane.
But this is very, I don't know, it feels like deja vu. Because usually when we see a draft like this, it's for example in Invictus Gaming drafts like this.
10
Like you would see a
seconds
Bulbacar Treant,
remaining.
Q on the Phoenix, Vengeful on Burning. But CDEC,
5
we've
seconds
never seen
remaining.
them draft like this before. So it looks like maybe they're taking a leaf out of IG's books. And
Reserve.
we'll see.
Works, why not?
I mean, we'll see if they can replicate that kind of success. But now the Nyx Assassin comes
team
out,
pick.
very likely this could actually be the 4 Clockwork again. They give 11 the Nyx Assassin instead.
It does look like that. I think the Venge might have skewed LGD's opinion on
10
where they wanted the
seconds
clock to be.
5 seconds.
I'm not so
remaining.
sure I like the idea of LGD having this as a potential tri-lane against what CDEC have, though.
Reserve time.
Clock is really, really annoying in tri-lanes, that's for sure. I suppose he does a bit more than Treant, but it could be a really volatile lane if it does happen. Because I feel like CDEC picks these 3 heroes and they at least have the ability to go aggro, and the other team has to respect that.
But one
And
thing,
they can like last pick their one-on-one matchup against the Nyx if they want to do something like an X, which I think works really well.
if anything, I also want to point out that if the Phoenix in the scenario where he goes into 3, you get a Venge into 5.
Templar assassin.
I mean, LGD, they might be in for a surprise because CDEC's draft, besides the TA, the other 3, or between the Phoenix and Venge, they have that kind of versatility to kind of swap things around. It seems unlikely considering the way the meta has been so far, but just leaving it out there. So TA pick comes in. We haven't seen this hero as well for a while. Okay, I
Good
think
TA game.
this is okay. Like, none of these heroes are exceptionally good at breaking refraction charges, and if
5
anything,
seconds
TA
remaining.
could have a really good game here against the heroes like Disruptor and Clock, just completely shredding them into pieces. Omni Knight will be the final ban. So yeah, they
Dire
anticipate
team
CDEC going for that pause 3 last.
I think the only thing that the TA is going to have to worry about is LGD's last pick. But I feel like there's very few things they can go for here that worry
10
CDEC
seconds remaining.
on like a global scale. They might have something that really messes with TA in the lane. They might have a somewhat scary hero at certain points, but I really like what CDEC have. This is such a strong draft for this meta game. They have so many ways to utilize any kind of lead
10
they get,
seconds remaining.
and I feel like there's no way they don't get a lead. The
5
heroes are just so
seconds
aggressive
remaining.
early, and they're so hard to lane against.
So
Yeah.
Reserve
okay,
time.
I know this is a long shot, but what are the odds that LGD decides to go back for a Viper pick on maybe, or even a Venomancer? I think this is a pretty
Venom's
good
way
game.
more likely.
Venom's way more. Yeah, that's right. So I was thinking like between the 2 poisonous heroes, Viper.
Ah, I
Venom.
could see Veno.
You can see Veno, right? Yeah, it seems really good, and all the more even better now that there's a
LGD's
Tide
turn
Hunt
to
in the
pick.
pool. A well-placed Veno ward could actually mess around the Tide, but not to mention. Whew,
I don't know if it would do enough though. Like, as I said, it's annoying, and I kind of had Veno in mind.
Tinker works though. I haven't seen this in a while. You don't usually see maybe in these kind of heroes, but especially since it's a Tinker, you want to be staying within the trees. It's all about the positioning game. Your team has to be in front where you just provide the nukes and all, but hey, I'm always happy. I mean, there was a period of time I actually studied Tinker quite extensively, so I'm excited to see how this would do, especially since pretty much this is the first Tinker game throughout the Summit 7 qualifiers.
I suppose you can get your notebook out and start studying. But I understand why they pick it here, because they're really scared of CDEC's potential to end the game. So they want to elongate it as much as possible and make it really hard for them to take objectives early, maybe delay the Roche if possible. But CDEC have really good heroes at dealing with Tinker. You can throw TA traps, Wave of Terror, Phoenix just dives, and they have ways to like cover their initiation as well. If they find the Tinker when it's actually in LGD's heroes, Tide can cover that. The only hero that's going to be able to do anything in that point is a Jug if he gets the spin-off. None of these heroes buy BKBs. It's a really good Tide game. It's also like really scary for LGD, I think. I would not favor their draft going into this.
You mean
They definitely have room to like turn it around, but I think it's harder for them.
I mean, I can see why you said that, but I don't know, I'm just gonna keep the faith with the Tinker draft for sure. Like no matter what, I will always enjoy a good Tinker game, especially since like going.
I'll enjoy seeing that hero get crushed.
Oh no!
Please.
No. You belong in the dark side. That's why you're gonna be rooting for the Dire. You're gonna be rooting for CDEC. I'm just gonna be rooting for the Tinker team. So right, so guys.
I used to love this Tinker hero, but like as a support man, you learn to hate this thing when it's picked every game.
I feel you.
I used to love this hero back when like Lycan Tinker was a thing, and you used to use it to cheese teams better than you. That was great, but now it's just such an annoying hero.
Especially
it's
since
not quite techies mode, but it's close.
I mean, ever since they introduced like the Aghanims into it, I remember everyone was going like, "Oh, why don't you go Ags anymore?" And then I'm just like, sometimes people get a bit one-dimensional with the way they see the Tinker build. But okay, bottom lane looks like Demons in a bit of trouble getting bang by Victoria. He wants some of that tree and booty, but okay, they dropped the sentry for this. He's actually going to be able to run off from this one. Ho ho! He gets you waste the
value.
Dust. You waste a sentry, Demons. Put the sentry down.
And that's the sentry they can't use to deal with. That's really, really important. And especially as we can see, and LGD are also going to know this, CDEC want to place their heroes bottom. So sure, the Treant's going to have to burn through some regen. Maybe he just uses the Shrine if they really value the lane. But this is a ward that's going to give you so much information in your tri lane. And that's extremely volatile lane, as I mentioned earlier. There's a lot of ways it can go good and bad for both sides. I would favor CDEC's lane. Personally, especially as they now have control of the pull. They have that blocked, they've got the vision around the area.
I can see why you said you favor CDEC's lanes. Like, Tide Hunter against Nyx Assassin, Tide should have the advantage with the Anchor Smash and all, making it extremely hard for Nyx Assassin to last hit. But I'm still looking to the middle lane, man. I just, like I said, I cannot stop emphasizing, I love this Tinker pick. Like, it's really very annoying. It's hard for you to fight into it. I would say it's one of the ultimate factors into deterring CDEC from ever wanting to go for a Ravage.
It's pretty much the best zone control hero when it comes to towers. Roshan's a bit harder because Phoenix, I suppose, for TA traps as well. But I feel like once CDEC get rolling, the Venge will just swap him in whenever they see the Tinker, and maybe it has to be a really, really calculated this game. He also has to be really fat.
And I also like the early matchup for Tinker versus TA, because when you start breaking the refraction so quickly like that, you make it extremely hard for him to CS, but that's only for the early levels. As that goes on, obviously Setsu's going to have a bit of an edge, and that's where you're forced to go into the March of Machines build. But, okay, let's talk about this bottom lane. We haven't seen that much action, considering it's a try-on-try-lane situation, but what's it like here? Like, do you see CDEC actually, is this enough for them?
I think it's going to pick up for sure, because right now they're not really that strong at level 1. The Venge doesn't have the stun, Phoenix needs ideally level 3 to have his entire toolkit, and similar thing with Treant. But this lane's more about like pressuring LGD supports. Clockwork wants to roam a lot in the early game and be really annoying in the lanes and get things done through finding supports, pulling, taking bounty runes, etc. And this is about like controlling that as much as possible. The TA is gonna like effectively trade mid, and the Tide's gonna edge out top like 60-40, maybe 65-35. Nyx just has like so much base regen, and if the lane pushes into him, he's gonna be fine last hitting on a tower with a Quelling Blade.
Especially
Ever
the
since
double
they changed
mangoes.
that item. Yeah, Mango City boys.
Oh, you're catering to them.
Mango Bay is legit actually.
Is it?
Yes. I have heard it on RTZ stream so much, I actually like it now, I think.
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that. I mean, you give me my rap, I'm okay. But Mango Bay, come
Cancer
on, man.
literally grows, man. I don't know.
You either...
It grows on you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is one example of you living long enough to see yourself turn into the villain.
I don't think it's that far, man. Like, come on.
It
it's
is,
not that
dude,
bad.
it is.
It's not like it's Justin Bieber or some shit.
Bieber got pretty legit as he grew up. Like, his recent songs were kinda okay. I'm with Sumail on this one.
I actually haven't heard too many of them. I think I've heard like one, and yeah, it's definitely a lot better than what he started out with, but... I mean, memes are enjoyable, man. Mango Bay's just a meme.
Sandstorm, man. Bring Sandstorm back. Darude.
The thing is, my mother used to have that song on her playlist, and every time I was like driving to school, she was driving me to school, I used to listen to that song. So I used to really like the song, and then it became a meme, and now I can't appreciate it anymore.
You can't appreciate memes. We have discovered you for who you really are.
No, I can't appreciate Sandstorm as a song now because it's just a meme.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
You didn't follow what I was saying, I guess.
No, I did. I guess I got a bit confused with the Mango Bay and the Sandstorm part, but yeah, okay. I see what you mean now.
My mum did not have Mango Bay on her playlist.
You never know. Maybe she secretly does, like, when she says, I have secrets. And then, you know, something like that pops out.
That's a secret you could deal with, I think.
I mean, for you, I'm not so sure about me, though. I might just be like, no.
Oh, are we done now? Is that it?
Not really. I still need you for the end of this best of 5 at least.
Oh, and then you get to ditch me, right?
Nah, of course I won't, BQ. I appreciate you being here, but okay, Yao getting burned down now. Looks like we'll finally see the first blood as it goes to Darker Eye Demons. Orb Venom and 96 damage there. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Yeah, I guess, you know, Yao getting a bit too cocky and felt a bit too safe.
I feel like they read that this clock was just not in the lane. Again, the ward at the side. He was going for the bounty rune. CDEC punished, they just have the extra hero. And Disruptor, unless you're being the aggressor in the lane, he doesn't have a way of saving you most of the time. And now you get to see that CDEC's lane is just coming into effect a bit more. Their dominance has been asserted now, and tri-lanes are very snowbally. Once something starts going right for you, and it's generally up to you to screw it up, otherwise it's going to keep going good for you.
Agreed, and I think this is also where you see the limitations of the Clockwork pick. Like
Yeah, it's just not a good hero when it's boxed into its safe lane and it's sharing experience with 3 heroes.
Oh, look at Flyby, he's just taunting them. He's like, come at me, bro. And then we'll actually get baited in. The Sunray's gonna fly out, healing up Flyby, so he's okay. He's trying to turn around. The Cog's catching them all in. It's a bit of a party. And okay, Flyby, they get 1 kill first, but Hero just died to Yao. But you don't want to be trading hits with demons, man. This guy hits like a truck. He knows Kung Fu. And alright, so 1 for 1. Flyby dies. I think this is a favorable trade to LGD for sure. You lose your carry on the other side.
Yeah, it's definitely favorable for LGD. I'm really surprised the tree opted to forgo the point in living armor, especially in this lane.
They want to keep on going. They may be able to find the Phoenix. They have a glimpse. Yes, they do.
And now LGD are getting a bit more control of their lane. They actually have the money to get the sentry so they can get rid of CDEC's tree threat, and they can start abusing this pull.
In this way, for Flyby, he doesn't have that good of a time. You can see he's opting to go for the treads this game, not so much the phase boots. He needs the survivability. Top lane's been very
Pretty
tricky.
standard.
I mean, like, you look at Tide, he's 42 CS. Your Nyx Assassin's at, like, what, 33. He's definitely struggling. It's not easy to last it against an Anchor Smash, man.
Ever since the Quelling Blade change, it's a lot easier than it once was, but yes, he does have a bit easier time. The main thing with Tide in this is just like,
Yep,
you can't kill them.
Sorry about that. But yeah, they wanted to go into Demon's game, but he's just running all the way to the tier 1 tower. Okay. Does he actually get out?
Have another defection. Yeah, he's fine.
Spin. Oh, but the Thunderstrike might be able to give them enough vision, and no. But yeah, you were saying? Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's like, you can't kill Tide in this lane. And as proven, he can nearly kill the Nyx. He did use Ravage for that though.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a big spell gone for 2 minutes. But hey, if you're not fighting yet, I guess that's a good thing. And old 11 in the Vendetta mode, just gonna get some damage out. But it barely tickles the Tidehunter, that's the thing. Oh, bottom lane, alright, yeah, Phoenix goes down. They get the cogs. Flyby, Living Armor's not exactly gonna help you. They're just gonna run him down. And CDEC's tri-lane, dead lane.
I believe it is time to do the switcheroo.
Yep, they will do exactly that.
And the one thing I feel like LGD get out of this lane is it's way easier to like net a Vendetta gang than it is to net a Ravage gang. So, but with the lane dissolving, I imagine it did. The bench actually TP'd back down here. Maybe it's just because the lane's in a good position and she feels a bit safer here. But I wouldn't feel happy staying in this lane much longer because my supports can't keep me alive anymore. So just take what you can.
It is a double
And then
wave.
hope
He
you
has
TA.
the range creeps. This TA is actually quite catching up, actually surpassing the Tinker and CS. Well, I guess that makes sense. Like, old 11, they do get the kill into Demons. Solo kill, very nice for him. So, yep, using the Vendetta kill, no surprise there. Well,
This is really good for LGD. The Nyx is getting this early impact and they're winning their lane in the bottom. And sure, the Tinker's going to get slightly outscaled mid lane because he can't farm Ancients. TA can. That's all there really is to it.
he did actually opt to go for the Soul Ring first, so I think that's not too bad for maybe like to have a slightly slower boost of travel instead of rushing in. But now they go for the stun into the Clockwork. They want to find a Victoria. The Cogs is going to push them back. Sunray's doing quite a fair bit of damage, and he's just going to just hit his own Cogs and get out. Oh, but the Icarus dive. This should be enough damage here. Victoria. They need one more right click. Bonk. If that was a high ground miss, Setsu would probably be like banging his table for that.
Yeah, luckily they had the 2 projectiles and they had traps if they needed to chase.
True that. And actually, because of that earlier solo kill, Old 11 now has the level advantage. He gets the bounty rune. Midas almost done already actually, and he's actually higher than the Tidehunter in terms of levels, considering how he actually lost the lane to the Tide, or rather, he was very even.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, as I said, it's like a 60-40. The Tide had like a bit more CS, but the Nyx is gonna get more done if the game isn't 5 many right now. And because CDEC lost their bottom lane and the Ravage got traded for the Shrine by Nyx, they didn't really have a way to put any pressure on LGD's tri-lane with the other 2 cores. So it basically just evolved into the Venge going back to the lane for efficiency reasons and ending up helping the TA with the triple ancient stack.
Illusion.
And now the TA is pretty fat. I wouldn't be surprised if she went Blink this game to try and set the pace a bit, but chances are Deso first is the way to go.
You never know. He doesn't have anything in the quick buy yet. Setsu will, of course, decide later on. Oh, getting this slow into Victoria.
Maybe.
The Cogs are pushing back. But yeah, I think they want to go for the kill here. They have the lead seat. They have the bash as well. Victoria in a bit of trouble. Setsu's just going to run past. Should be able to get the kill here. Yep, easy right click. And they will cancel the TP. So this way, Army knows that he's alone bottom with the Venge. Can't do anything about that as well. The TP's going to come into an old 11. And of course, they're going to try and find Darkrai. Demon should be dying here. Oh, actually, oh, look at that. He put the sentry down. He will die to maybe, but that's a big kill. Boots of travel now completed as well. This is perfect timing for the Tinker.
Yeah, he's had a really uninterrupted game and doing pretty well with it. But for now, CDEC can, if they want, start grouping up. They have this Tide Ravage back available, they have his mech finished.
Oh, that's really fast. 12 minutes.
And this is the luxury of having him in a one-on-one. Like, if the Nixon is nearly finished a Midas, the Tide's nearly finished a mech. And we say nearly, but they both have. Well, I say nearly, before you say anything.
Alright, so now TPing to the top. Now I'm gonna see what this Tinker will go for after his Blink Dagger. I'm gonna see if he goes for the Ether Lens. I know with Chinese Tinkers, some of them actually will dodge the Ether Lens. They just go straight into like an Aghanims. But sometimes,
That's so greedy.
yeah, but sometimes you see like the Dagon. Like this is where the preference thing is. You're lacking in damage, you go for the Dagon. If you want to stall the fights for your team to do something, that's where you go for the Ags. But now, with the flank around, O11 does not have a Carapace. This will be a very quick and easy pick off here. With the Sentry down as well, Vendetta. Oh, hold on!
Oh, he ate the Sentry.
Oh.
What a fucking player.
And he's gonna get the
snipe
courier.
his chicken.
He's gonna get the courier.
It's
Get
so
out!
worth.
Oh, but he's gonna pay for it with his life. Carapace
Killed.
takes a ton of damage. Doesn't really have any ancients for him to really, suicide to. But anyways, getting the stun. Okay, never mind. Setsu will get the kill. Oh, but like you said, he did go for the blink, so he is going to be setting the pace for this game. Look out for those kills, man.
Yeah, well, I think that's massively influenced by the fact the Tide has his mech and they want to
top
like play
lane,
really
Storm
aggressive
dropped
right
into
now.
the Train Protector, but Phoenix will get himself a kill. Army coming in, will finish off. Maybe nice laser to finish it off. Will they go for a bit more? I don't think so. Don't have enough mana, maybe. But with Army, this is pretty much a cue to, I think, get some siege damage onto the tier 1 tower at least.
It's a good trade mid for CDEC though. They trade 2 supports, well, 1 support each, but tier 1 mid goes down while the TA is hitting it. And this is kind of what they want to be accomplishing now. Ideally, they want a team fight first, where they win it and then take the tower, but if you're just taking towers, you can't really complain. They're extremely valuable against Tinker.
Bottom lane, going into flyby. Can they get the stun? He has a Vendetta.
He
Could
needs
actually-
help.
Oh, the glimpse back. They have more than enough damage. Swap out. Ooh. Pretty nice. Using the one charges, gets the impale. So Flyby will die to the missiles anyways. Actually, no, all 11 will get the glass click. Very unfortunate. If they had maybe given it to Tinker, accelerated blink dagger timing, that can be really scary in terms of pushing objectives if you're CDEC. So, but meanwhile, let's not forget, Setsu is top of the net worth right now. He's a comfortable 2,000 gold ahead. He has a double damage. This is really bad if they choose to take a fight now.
I think it's more likely they take Roche. They have the ults to cover the pit, and DD Rune very fortuitous for him. Like, it's somewhat easy for LGD to set up and defend towers, but defending a Roche into Ravage plus these teamfight ults is really awkward.
CO 11. Thanks for the donation, says CDEC. So now this game looks to be really going their way right now, the clock. So the clock is going to scout that out with the rocket flare. You did not hear that. Static Storm, oh, actually, pretty nice. But the egg, also pretty big. Let's see, we'll see what they can do. Victoria is trying to right-click that egg down, but he won't be able to get the full proc. Ravage, actually doesn't have mana for it now, he will. Off the stick charges, he's going to use the Ravage for Army, very, very worth it. It's going to be a 3 for 1. And this way, CDEC, like you said, it's not easy for the LGD to push into a Tide Hunter Ravage around the Roche pit.
But they do stop them taking it because the TA wasn't kept alive. They're like slightly mistimed. Maybe she still would have died to like the last tick of the Static Storm or something, but she got blown up by a laser. And I think that's kind of about as good as LGD can hope for in terms of contesting this. I think CDEC will go straight back to this.
Oh, they get the hook shot. Sunray's going to keep him alive. He's actually really, really tanky. Very healthy. Victoria popping the cogs, needs to run, but the Sunray will actually burn him down. So this is a very good Phoenix game, actually. He's almost on a Midas as well, 16 minutes in. The March from maybe is going to be there to stall things out a bit. And both teams just kind of revolving around this pit, but no one really can fight. No one can really claim the Aegis confidently. But with the Ravage down, I think CDEC just backs off in farm, right?
Oh, they definitely need mana. The Venge is out, the Tide is out, and if LGD can somehow sneak this, because maybe CDEC don't respect the fact that they can do it, but never mind, they have a trap placed by the TA. So a nice idea by LGD, but chances of it working are pretty slim.
They smoke up. We'll see what they decide to do. Or the 11 in the Vendetta form could be actually breaking a smoke potentially. Yao's also there, they drop the sentries.
Oh, it's just out of range of the ward. That is unfortunate.
Oh, 2 sentries for
But-
the price of 1.
They have their 2 ults available now. They don't have the big one in Ravage, but this could still be enough to secure them the area. But the TA can deal with the marchers, but this Treant apparently can't. And that's big.
Oh,
but
they get the
don't
hook
have
shot
mech
into
now.
the glimpse. Bit of a mess up there, but it's okay. That'll be more than enough. Oh, nice carapace. The Static Storm still trapping the bench. There's nowhere for him to run. TA, if he goes down again one more time, this could be bad. He's just gonna melt. The egg gonna get the full proc. Oh, the swap getting this jug. Perfect timing for Flyby, and they will blow him up. And now they're gonna keep on going, but this March though, how do you fight into the March? And this is what I was talking about, like the Tinker pick. But they get the glimpse back, looking for the stun. They want to kill this Tidehunter, but the Kraken Shell helping him dispel that. Nice carapace. But CDEC, I think they can go here. Sensu. Yeah, he wants to get the bug to cut him up very, very nice and easy. So that's pretty. Oh, maybe actually sniping off the Tidehunter. Can't do anything with the March. If anything, the March. Okay, he gets a blink out, and CDEC they can consider going back into the Roche pit. Yeah, they're going straight for it. But if you're the Clockwork right now,
Yeah, they need to back. Like they're all way too low.
but this is really interesting. You lose 4 heroes for a Tidehunter, and now that Ravage is coming off cooldown, by the time he's up,
Yeah, LGD definitely won't be like too happy with the exchange. But I think in the grand scheme of things, Tinker is the cornerstone of this draft. And the way CDEC kind of deal with that hero, at least right now, is getting the Aegis to like just give them this overwhelming teamfight presence that they can deal with the March. They can have this one hero that just goes on steroids.
oh yes, actually I agree with that. Okay, now I have to put you in the spot with this question. Between who can utilize the Aegis better, who do you think it should go to? Like between CDEC and LGD? TA for sure. But what about between the teams? Like
which
between
team
the teams?
uses it better?
Yeah.
Definitely CDEC. Like CDEC's lineup very much relies on. I think TA is a hero, especially in like games against Disruptor. You rely on Aegis a lot.
Ooh. Oh, the 11, he just broke the smoke. Swapped back in, the carapace being there, it will stun him up, and actually Vengeful Spirit, nice Static Storm! Actually catching, oh yeah, it was gonna be so good, but Connect will let them run out, so Victoria's gonna die. The March doing quite a fair bit amount of damage, actually trying to break the trees, trying to get vision onto the Tinker, getting the glimpse back, so okay, at least Disruptor gets out. Where's your
And
jump?
now that's Roche.
Is it though? I don't know, I mean there's no Ravage.
Yeah, they still have Egg.
Hawk is up at 10, but okay, yeah, they're just gonna let this one go. They don't want to take the risk, and just like that, it took us like what 3 to 4 skirmishes, but LGD they end up conceding the Roshan to CDEC. And if you see deck right now, what do you go next on the TA? You get rid of the bottle, do you go for BKB? Do you still want to go for Hurricane Pike?
Maybe you just go for like a big damage item, but I could definitely see BKB if this Aegis doesn't net them too much. I think with the Aegis you don't want to be buying BKB, but depending how much they get off of it, he might not like necessarily finish a big item like an MKB or Bloodthorn or something really big before this ends. So then you might just see the BKB afterwards,
hold on.
'cause he kind of needs one or the other.
They found demons, they know he's there.
They have the dust.
Should be a quick and easy kill. If you have the lasers, maybe nets himself an extremely easy kill. And yeah, I mean, about his itemization, as I said I was going to observe it, he has actually ended up going for the Ether Lens. So that's still okay. And if you get an Aghanim Scepter on him with his talent, where you have the extra cast range later on, man, it's really hard to find this hero in the trees later on. And if you look at CDEC, they don't have good heroes for that unless Trian gets to the the level of an Aghanim Scepter. At this point, very
they have
unlikely.
decent heroes for it though. Like the wave is good at scouting, the traps give you the information if you place them well. Phoenix can break the trees. They do have ways. It's by no means ideal. Like you'd much rather have like a Night Stalker Axe or something, but they can do it. They just have to like be that one step ahead and be ready for it, which is kind of how most teams beat Tinker anyway. When it gets to this stage where the Tinker's actually got his items, just like read one step ahead, play chess.
Setsu gonna claim the bottom tier 1 very easily. They do have the network advantage, approaching the 4,000 mark. Demons has good vision and army, should know that he's alone. They will rotate the Phoenix in with the Vengeful as well. Oh, they get the bash. Very nicely done. They have an overgrowth. They want to cancel a TP. Ame is in some serious trouble here. Alright, he's going for the Omni Slash now, but he doesn't have anything else. Hey, very nicely done from the Tinker. Might be able to save Ame. Healing Ward will not be enough to save him now. But actually, Demon now looking for the Tinker. Might get the bash, not the blink out, so he's gonna be okay. But meanwhile, looking at Old 11. Oh, Setsu actually blows up Victoria inside his own jungle. This is scary.
4 o'clock.
Radiant's bottom tower
Yeah,
is
CDEC
under
is
attack.
just starting that snowball. I am really curious if this TA wants to buy BKB. Like, she has money if she sells an item, or just kills Ancients.
Could sell their Kola, get a BKB. I feel like BKB is a must-have, especially when you're pushing into Nyx Assassin, Disruptor, and of course,
there we go.
the Tinker.
I could see it being skipped with Aegis, but yes, I do agree. He's gonna need it at some point in the game. This just is a ungreedy way of going about it. And for everything LG did to stop them getting the Roche, they traded a lot away for that, and they didn't really get anything in return. You know, the big objective went CDEC's way, and they also got, I believe, 2 of the 3 skirmishes were pretty favorable. Maybe all 3 of them.
Okay, the first one I remember was pretty much like just 1 kill. That was the TA. The second one, that's where they had a 1-for-1, but it was the third skirmish which pretty much won them the Aegis, which was a 4-for-1 trade. And okay, Old 11 with the Blink Dagger now, or he can afford it. You know, this might be a game-changing item in terms of initiation for LGD. Oh, Setsu almost one-hit 11, and he's going to be very, very afraid.
The fact he hasn't bought the Blink yet makes me think
Radiant's
he
middle
might go
tower
Axe.
is under attack.
Because if you look at CDEC's game plan, they're coming to you. You don't necessarily need to be able to initiate on them when they're hitting your towers, and Clock can get the initial jump for you.
Sure.
Axe could be a
Oh,
better
they want to
option.
find him. They actually get the overgrowth onto the Tinker. He's going to be able to blink out. Not so sure. Oh, that was actually really close. I was a bit stoned for a moment there, as in the sense like Setsu blinked right on top of where the Tinker was, so that gave me a heart attack. I was like, okay, why would he blink there? But
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
okay, I don't think like in EU you guys ever call someone stone. It's like a very Asian thing. It's like calling someone in blur.
I've never called someone stone, no.
Yeah, that's how I was like, oh, that's a very Asian thing to do. Like you say, hey, very stone lah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I might say whatever you're smoking, I'd like to have some, but that's like the next level flame, you know.
I'll take that as tribute.
Different context. So yeah, that's why I get a bit confused at first when someone says stoned, but you know, in Singapore it's like a bit different. Yeah, that was, I think that's like one of the few times you guys would hear my very, very Singlish accent. Pity I can't really use it in cast though. That's a bit too, I'm not sure, too Singaporean, right?
It's better that you don't have a thick accent, I think.
Oh, that's the one where you go
More
like
viewer
nice,
friendly.
Indeed. Oh, actually, hold on. Victoria.
He's not so nice, He's very dead.
I mean, if anything, CDEC have his number. They're like, feed me here right now, and they find him, and they're like, okay.
Dire's top
He doesn't really have much to do this game. He's a counter initiation tool if they find the Tinker, and otherwise he's an information bot. And while CDEC don't have an Aegis right now because it expired, they still have a TA BKB, they still have all their ultis available, if they're all 5 in one place, because right now the Tide's doing a bit of deep push duty, but this bottom tower is pretty much secure. The only thing I think CDEC really need is like a gem, and then they're really good to like put their hold on the game.
This is pretty interesting because right now into the jungle, they have found Ame getting the chain stun up. Do they have the overgrowth? They might be able to use it here. Yes, they will use it. Ame actually going to get up, but it's okay. They actually swap him back in. Ame, where are you going? Setsu wants you. And Setsu gets you. Trying to actually find Yao. Comes back. Not really going to matter. But hey, he still has the Invisor and they will know.
Oh, the TA blinked into the trees. Otherwise, I think this Disruptor was dead. Poor guy.
You can see this game, Tinker really wants to get in your face because he actually went for the Dagon build, not the Aghanims. He sees that his team actually is lacking in damage right now. Ame isn't all too hot in terms of farm. He only has a Manta style, and he can't really man fight any of these heroes yet, can he?
Most likely
Radiant's
not.
middle tower is under attack.
This game is pretty much just a typical Tinker game now. His team is working off whatever scraps he doesn't take, and he feels like he's going to have to do the heavy lifting. I like the Dagon here because a lot of the team fight from CDEC is going to come from like Phoenix or the Treant, and if you can blow them up at the start of the fight with any form of vision, it might give you enough of a advantage to be able to push a fight in your favor. If not, it's just a good way at stopping CDEC hitting your towers. Less so with the TA because
Oh, they
of
actually get the carapace really nicely done from the old 11. And that'll be the Setsu going down. Oh, actually about to swap out even better. They're going to heal him up with the mech as well. Is this where they go for the turnaround? Thailand actually tanking the Omni Slash. That's a Ravage. But he doesn't have the mana though. Oh, that actually started out so beautiful.
That was a sick play countered by this Venge hero.
This Venge MVP right there, saving Setsu from dying because he's top of the net worth, has a huge streak as well. But still, that was actually some really sick predictions coming out from 011. Like, he's just stood there, tanked with the carapace, getting the stun into the static storm. It was such good setup, but all ruined because of one Venge. So, you know, Venge carry is actually a thing. They go for him, round 2, they want revenge. They're like, we can't get the TA, we'll get you anyways. Nice carapace. Sun Ray gonna heal up just nicely, but it will not be enough as maybe we're just digging him down. So, okay, this game getting a bit interesting. And like
Same play twice.
You were right
hits
though.
once.
You were right on 011 going for the Ags this game. So, good call. And now we'll see if they decide to fight. Tynant still has Ravage, but he's up in the top. Going to complete those Greaves first.
This will probably be a tier 1. They just need to like commit enough that the armor doesn't heal it back up. Actually, I suppose it's really hard for them to like get the tower because Tinker doesn't hit towers, and the Jug, he's got decent damage, but he's just got too much to be worried about. It's not like he can just spin off the spirits and hit the tower, because then he's going to get Blink Ravaged, and the game's not going to look so good.
And on top of that, you have living armor to push into. You have to actually decisively win a fight if you're LGD, if you ever want to take high ground. And as it is, they're struggling to take just a tier 1 tower.
Yeah, I actually think high ground will be easier than taking tier 1s. If they ever get to a point where they can take high ground, that's enough, I think. But tier 1s are, like, at this stage, such an annoyance to push. They have one hero that's going to hit them. And the whole armor change as well to heroes in nearby, with how close Phoenix is, when he was in ulti form, etc. It all just makes the tower super tanky.
Alright, so this game is starting to become a bit static. We might see both teams kind of revolving around the Roshan pit again. I mean, this is Chinese Dota. It's like you have to have an Aegis so that you can push an objective. It's like protocol. So, getting the stun into the Tidehunter. Doesn't seem like they really want to overcommit on him. He's just way too tanky of a Piping Greaves. But I like this movement from CDEC. They go from the left, hoping to find someone as they're all smoked up. Demons in front, the smoke will break. They should know. Yep, they pop the dust immediately, but the Carapace is very nicely done. They can still get the bash anyways on the Train Protector. And that should be a quick kill. But I think they're okay with that. LGD, they're okay with this. You lose a high net worth target, but at least your team doesn't die to a smoke gank.
On the flip side though, I don't think CDEC are going to have any complaints.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Pretty easy to follow up, take the Roche after Nyx. Nyx is like their main teamfight control now. If he can get in the area, I suppose it's still a tiny bit awkward for him. But he's like the thing that's going to stop CDEC doing what they want to do. And with him dead, it's extremely easy. Now we have TA's kind of normal, I suppose you could say, how do you say like trifecta for 4 items? Is that such a term?
I'm not sure.
But like this inventory is kind of what TA wants to be playing with. And they have the tools to enable her. Like, Venge looks really poor, but Solar Crest, we all know how broken that item is. It's not as relevant this game because LGD's right click is pretty minimal, but you know, it's still an amazing item. And the aura and the swap do enough, and this actually is a pretty easy choke kill.
Dropping the static storm into the Tidehunter. Icarus dive, not really going to catch anyone, but immediately they will TP out. Use the Static Storm defensively, but if you can save Ame, should be hashtag worth it.
Yeah, the Vane's just a bit too far back. Not quite level 3 swap either, so... Close encounter, but he lives to tell the tale. We shall see if their towers can say the same. So that's what CDEC want right now. I don't think the Tinker's at a point where like CDEC mind that much. The Piper makes it just so easy to push into him in comparison to without.
Alright, just like that, CDEC, they claim themselves the mid-tier 2 tower. And you can see, Mixed Assassin, very hard to play this game. It's not like he can just blow someone up. I'm actually okay if he goes for a Dagon as well, just so you can just randomly blow a hero up, get the manpower advantage, like you said, so that you can actually win a fight.
That's the only problem. Like, they're actually all just tanky.
That's true.
It's not like there's a Crystal Maiden.
Phoenix has like, what, 1500 HP, a Trin also about the same.
Yes, Shivas, man.
Yeah. And Vengeance
this
2K.
is also another amazing item to finding Tinker in the trees and cancelling his blink. I would have probably looked for Yules, but you know, screw it, he's fat. GPM talent doing work.
You want to go into all 11 in Sunray? Oh, they used the Ravage for this, wow!
That's fine actually.
I mean, if you're not fighting, that's okay, right?
I actually don't know if they need the Ravage to like push a tier 2. They're gonna want Ravage if they go high ground. That's just very greedy to not go for that. But for a tier 2, I don't think they need it. Especially if they can get there by the time the Nyx is still dead. Because as I said earlier, Nyx is like the big team fight enabler. The Disruptors, it's very hard for him to have the right impact because it relies on the clock finding the correct hero and then him also being in range. Which is generally going to be the Phoenix or the Tide. But if he shows, the TA just goes on him. And he melts, he's butter.
TA melts any hero on the side of LGD right now, actually. And I like this Tinker Ward. So if maybe were to ever TP into this area, he's just gonna die, for sure. Because with the BKB and TA, there's just no way you actually deal with it. And Tidehunter will be going for the Refresher Orb. He's gonna be more, I'd say more aggressive with his Ravages. He's not gonna hold anything back. So this game, really hard game to be a Juggernaut as well.
It's hard to be a carry when there's no farm on the map, right?
Yep.
You're getting minimal amounts of waves coming into you, and Tinker's doing his best to push them out on the other side so that you never get to see any.
But considering,
sorry, go on.
no, considering his net worth advantage for his team, like all this gold invested into him, they haven't been able to pick a fight at all. And how do you see LGD actually ever initiating on fight?
CDEC goes towards their towers, they find an optimal initiation, and that's it. It's really easy when teams push into you to say, okay, I want my clockwork whenever this hero shows. You can't really say what's going to happen all the time, but it's just like, if you see this hero, jump him, the Disruptor's in position. And that's easier to plan than it is when you're out on the map. Like if you take that fight, say, here, you don't have that if, and you do when they're pushing your high ground. And other than that, it's just relying on maybe to not make a mistake on Tinker. Like if they catch him without buyback, they can very easily lose the game, so there's a lot of pressure on him. But if they don't catch him and he keeps pushing waves out and keeps delaying the game, he's doing his job. And he gives his team a chance.
Just by prolonging the game, right? If you're CDEC, you have to take this nice impatient. You don't want to be forcing the issue as well. But I like the point you brought up, especially about having no buyback on Tinker, because yeah, he's saving for buyback. At the same time, what kind of items can you even go for this game? Like he's opting to go for the Ethereal Blade, but I won't be surprised if he goes into an Aghanim Scepter, just so that he can at least, you know, it's easy to land the multiple lasers and missiles to cancel a Ravage.
I think if you go full Dagon, you kind of naturally follow into E-Blade. It's just a very simple progression. And E-Blade has a lot of utility this game. It's not just a damage outlet for Tinker. Kind of all of the damage on CDEC is upfront physical damage. They have a bit of rot through their magic. But This could actually be
Hold
really
on,
good.
Victoria.
Like, there's
The
no
baby
TA.
smoke, they go for the hook shot immediately. Cogs, you need to isolate this Titan though. The egg, Victoria's just gonna tank everything here. He's gonna force staff away. It looks like they will be A-okay. Maybe. Alright, so the egg wasted, but they still have the Ravage, so that's the big thing. Very awkward skirmish going on here between both teams, but no one really dying, and I think that's just good positioning from CDEC as well.
That was like... It was next level on two ways. One, LGD capitalized on the fact TA isn't there. But a lot of teams would have still lost that fight, not respecting the fact that this is a level 3 Phoenix egg. You probably aren't killing that. So the fact they back off there shows like amazing discipline and awareness of how the game's going. Looks like they want to go again though. This time CDEC are still pretty split, but it's all about who they find. It looks like Tree's in the right place, right time.
2 times the charm. Alright, they bait up the tree and pick. But Setsu's into the party as well. They might even get a good Ravage up here. Oh no, this is not the fight they were looking for. 2 heroes down. They will be able to force the buyback, I think. And Juggernaut gets Ravaged. But they have nothing else. And actually, oh, very nice carry plus, but very unfortunate. Because right now, Demons is basically just bashing away. Now because they swap... Okay, next, bye-bye. Nowhere to go. 4 heroes go down CDEC. Now they need to buy back on the Tinker. And if they catch him one more time, it's over.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Caster's Curse, I guess?
Radiant's
Maybe.
structures are
I mean,
fortified.
in this case, I really did think them access, but still.
Right, I praise them for knowing their limits and then they just go for the second smoke. They probably feel somewhat
Oh,
desperate.
Tinker!
Like,
Die
if
back.
this happens,
And the Jug also going down like that, he buys back.
Lost face, but
Oh, Tinker
yeah,
actually
game
DC'd.
over.
They called it GG anyways.
No, that's not a
Oh.
DC, that's leaving the game.
That's the rage GG right there.
Radiant's middle
No matter how you say it, that is the rage GG. Because if you're maybe,
Good stuff from CDEC
Zounds for
though. Like,
victory.
I really like this draft. The lanes looked a tiny bit shaky, but once you get out of the lanes in this metagame, it's all about how can you use anything that you have in a fight. It doesn't matter if your Tinker has top of net worth if you can't use it, because all you're doing is defending and marching out creeps. Same thing with the Jug. Like, at what point in this game, other than in the laning stage, was he accomplishing things?
Mhm.
It just felt so awkward for LGD. Like, the second they picked this Tinker, they really backpedaled, and I don't think it was necessarily a bad idea. It's just good stuff from CDEC, and now we get a game 5.
but this is also where I feel like it's just the limitations of the draft. I felt that CDDC really outdrafted them in this case. The superior lanes also did help a lot, and yeah, I mean that was game 4. Here we are. We'll be seeing a game 5, the deciding game. PQ. Well, this is the Summit 7 Grand Finals for the Chinese qualifiers, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hades. This is PQMZ. We'll be back for game 5 very, very shortly. So you guys don't want to miss this. We'll see you in a few